There comes a time in life when you start realizing that no matter how good your intentions are, not everyone will understand you. People will judge you not by your effort, but by their own limited perception. They'll say you're too quiet, too ambitious, too different, or too unrealistic. And in those moments, you'll feel the urge to explain yourself, to defend your dreams, to justify your path, to prove that you are not wrong. But I want to tell you something that took me years to learn. You don't need to explain your vision to people who are not meant to walk your journey. Your energy is precious. Don't waste it trying to convince people who are not even willing to understand. When I was young, I applied for 30 jobs. Rejected by all, even KFC. I told people about my dream of building a Chinese internet company. They laughed. They said I knew nothing about technology, nothing about business, and they were right. I didn't have much, but I had focus. I had clarity, and I chose to stay silent. I didn't argue. I didn't fight back. I just worked. I believed that my actions would speak one day, louder than any words could. You see, in silence, something powerful happens. You begin to hear your own voice more clearly. You're no longer distracted by the noise of the world. You stop comparing and you start building. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean being selfish. It means being smart. It means understanding that growth is personal and greatness is not something you shout about. It's something you become through consistency, discipline, and relentless patience. Most people don't fail because they are not talented. They fail because they are too busy watching others, too busy talking, too busy proving. What they don't realize is success isn't loud, it's quiet, it's invisible in the beginning. It's hidden in early mornings, long nights, failures, rejections, and silent progress. That's where real transformation happens, when no one is clapping and you're still showing up. So if you're feeling misunderstood, if you're doubting yourself because the world is doubting you, I want you to pause and remind yourself of this truth. You owe no one an explanation. You owe yourself results, and the best way to get there is to stay focused on your path and stay silent about your plans. Let your work speak. Let your results speak. Let your life speak. In today's world, people often mistake silence for weakness. They think if you're not constantly talking, constantly proving, constantly showing off your achievements, then maybe you have nothing going on. But the truth is the opposite. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength. Silence is power. It means you're strong enough to let your actions speak louder than your words. When I started out, I was not the smartest person in the room. I wasn't from a rich background. I didn't have a strong network or powerful connections. I was an English teacher who barely passed his college exams. But what I learned early on is that when people don't believe in you, it's better to stay quiet and focused than to argue and explain. Because people don't listen to your words, they only see your results. In those early days, I had so many opportunities to defend myself. When I was rejected from dozens of jobs, even KFC, I wanted to ask, why not me? What's wrong with me? When people laughed at my ideas for building an internet company in China, I felt the urge to shout back, to prove them wrong with arguments. But I realized that talking doesn't build anything. Silence, patience, and hard work do. You see, when you're silent, you're not wasting your energy, you're saving it. You're investing it into something real, your goals, your craft, your growth. Most people spend more time talking about what they're going to do than actually doing it. They want applause before they've even started the race. But that's not how life works. Strong people don't need to announce their every move. They trust the process. They understand that the right people will notice them at the right time. Think about it. A seed doesn't make noise when it's growing underground. It takes time, silence, and darkness to grow roots. Only after that silent growth does it break through the soil and reach the sunlight. The same is true for you. Your silent seasons, when no one understands you, when no one claps for you, are the most important parts of your journey. That's when you build strength. That's when you grow. Silence also brings clarity. When you stop trying to explain yourself to everyone, you start hearing your own voice more clearly. You stop living for validation and start living with intention. You no longer make decisions out of fear or pressure, but from purpose and belief. You realize that being understood by the world is not nearly as important as being true to yourself. And let's be honest, people will always have something to say. If you fail, they'll laugh. If you succeed, they'll criticize. That's just how the world is. So instead of trying to win their approval, choose to win your own respect. Stay silent. Let them talk. While they're talking, you keep building. While they're watching, you keep learning. While they're doubting, you keep growing. Eventually, your silence becomes impossible to ignore because your results will speak for you. Your actions will echo louder than their doubts. And when the day comes that you finally succeed, you won't need to say, "I told you so." They'll already know. So remember this, silence is not giving up, it's gearing up, it's not weakness, it's wisdom. The strongest warriors don't shout in battle, they move with focus, with calm, and with confidence. Be like that, be silent, be strong, and when it's time, the world will hear you without you ever raising your voice. One of the biggest lessons I learned in life, and one I wish more people understood, is this. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your dreams, your journey, or your timing. You are not here to satisfy everyone's curiosity or fit into anyone's expectations. You are here to live your life, not theirs. When I shared my idea to build an internet company in China, people thought I was crazy. Even my close friends said, "Jack, you don't even know how to code. You don't have money. What makes you think you can do this?" They were not being cruel. They just couldn't see what I saw. And I had two choices. I could stop and explain myself, or I could keep moving forward. I chose the second. You see, the moment you start explaining yourself to everyone, you lose something very precious. Your peace. Everyone will have opinions. Everyone will think they know what's best for you. But no one lives in your shoes. No one sees your vision the way you do. So why do we waste so much time trying to justify our dreams to people who are not meant to understand them? It's human nature to want to be understood. We want support. We want others to see what we're working toward. But most people can only understand dreams that look like their own. If your dream is different, bigger, bolder, more ambitious, they'll tell you it's impossible or that you're being unrealistic. But remember this, greatness always looks crazy in the beginning. The path to success is lonely at first, not because you're wrong, but because you're early. Think about this. Every minute you spend trying to convince someone who doesn't believe in you is a minute stolen from your own growth. You don't need to convince them. You need to become so focused, so consistent, and so relentless that your results speak louder than your words ever could. And here's the truth. The people who really matter, the ones who love and respect you, they won't need explanations. They'll see your effort. They'll feel your energy. They'll support you not because they understand every step, but because they trust your heart. The rest? Let them misunderstand you. Let them doubt. That's not your burden to carry. I've seen too many people waste years trying to live up to other people's expectations. They go to schools they hate, work jobs they don't love, chase dreams that aren't theirs, all to please others. But what happens when you reach the top of a mountain you never wanted to climb? You feel empty. That's the cost of living for validation, and it's too high. You don't owe your past an explanation. You don't owe your critics a conversation. You don't owe the doubters any justification. What you do owe is your future, your younger self who once believed anything was possible, your future self who is counting on you to stay the course even when it's hard, even when it's lonely. So stop explaining. Start executing. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them laugh. And while they're busy judging your journey, you stay busy building something they'll never forget. One day, they'll see what you saw all along, but by then, you won't need to say a word, because success doesn't need subtitles. It speaks for itself. Walk your path, believe in it, trust it. You owe yourself that much. You don't owe them anything else. In a world where everyone is trying to do everything at once, focus has become a rare superpower. We live in an age of distractions, constant notifications, endless opinions, comparison on social media, and a culture that praises busyness over real progress. People chase 10 things at once and wonder why nothing is working. But let me tell you something I've learned through every failure and every success. The most powerful people are not the busiest. They are the most focused. When I was building Alibaba, I didn't try to compete with everyone. I didn't try to be the smartest person in the room. I didn't try to do what everyone else was doing. I focused on one thing, building a platform to help small businesses in China go global. That was the mission. That was the vision. And I didn't allow anything, not failure, not rejection, not noise, to distract me from that goal. Most people fail not because they aren't talented, but because they lack focus. They're here one day, they're the next. They start something with excitement, but quit at the first sign of difficulty. They get inspired by someone else's success and abandon their own plan. But success doesn't come to the most excited, it comes to the most focused. Focus means saying no, not just to distractions, but to good opportunities that don't align with your greater purpose. It means knowing who you are, what you want, and why it matters. It means being so committed to your growth that nothing pulls you off course. Not opinions, not obstacles, not even your own fears. You want to know what changed my life? It wasn't some miracle. It wasn't luck. It was focus. I didn't build a billion-dollar company by chasing every trend. I stayed locked in on my vision, even when people didn't understand it, even when it felt like it was going nowhere. That's what focus gives you. Endurance, the strength to keep going when others would give up. Focus brings clarity. When your mind isn't split in 10 directions, you start to see what actually matters. You stop wasting time. You stop comparing. You start making real progress. And every day, that progress compounds. Every day, you become more powerful because your energy is going in one direction, forward. There will always be distractions. People will try to pull you into their chaos. Trends will try to tempt you. Fear will whisper lies in your ear. But your focus is your shield. When you know what you're working for, it becomes easier to say no to what doesn't matter. Let others jump from one thing to another. Let them be loud, confused, constantly starting over. You stay focused, you build quietly, you move consistently, and in time, your results will be undeniable. Remember, your time is your life. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, your future grows. So if you want to change your life, don't look for more hours in the day. Look for more focus in your hours. Focus is not just a habit, it's a way of life. Train it, guard it, value it. Because in a world full of noise, your ability to focus will separate you from the rest. And in the end, it's not about doing everything. It's about doing the one thing that matters. With everything you've got, people often think success is something loud. They imagine big announcements, applause, recognition, and the spotlight. But the truth, real growth, the kind that transforms you, doesn't happen in public. It happens in silence, in private, in the shadows, when no one is watching and no one is cheering. I've lived this. When I first started Alibaba, we had nothing. No money, no reputation, no resources. Just a small team working in a tiny apartment in Hangzhou, trying to build something that didn't even make sense to most people at the time. There was no media attention, no praise. No one believed in us. And yet, it was in that quiet struggle, away from the world's eyes, that everything important happened. You see, silence gives you the space to grow without pressure, without pretending, without trying to meet expectations. It's where you fall down, fail, learn, adapt, and rise again, without fear of judgment. When the world isn't watching, you get to be real. You get to be honest. That's where character is built. That's where resilience is born. Everyone wants the outcome, but very few want the process. The silent grind, the unseen hours, the lonely nights, the painful lessons. But that process is everything. You don't become strong in front of people. You become strong when you're alone, and you choose to keep going anyway. Silence is not empty. It's full of answers. In silence, you start hearing your inner voice. You begin to reflect. You see clearly what you need to improve. You understand your weaknesses and develop your strengths. You don't have to perform or impress anyone. You just grow, slowly, quietly, powerfully. And here's something I've learned. The world only respects your silence after you've grown through it. Before that, people might think you're lazy, lost, or not doing much. That's okay. Let them assume. Let them underestimate you. Your job is not to satisfy their curiosity. Your job is to become so good they can't ignore you when the time is right. But don't rush out of your silent season. Embrace it. That's where the foundation is laid. That's where the habits are built. That's where the internal change happens. The kind of change that no one can take away from you. Because the growth you earn in silence, that stays with you forever. The problem is, most people want to be seen before they're ready. They chase visibility instead of value. But if you get attention before you've built something solid, that attention will destroy you. It will expose your cracks instead of showcasing your strength. So let yourself grow in the dark like a seed. And when you're ready, you'll bloom. And no one will be able to stop it. Real growth is not loud. It's quiet. It's invisible. But it is powerful beyond words. So if you're in that silent chapter right now, where you're working hard, healing, building, learning, and no one seems to notice, keep going. That's the most important part of your journey. That's the chapter that will define your story. Stay patient, stay disciplined, stay focused. Your silence is not empty space, it's sacred ground. And one day, when the results finally show, when people ask, "Where did you come from?" you'll smile, because you'll know exactly where you've been. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants their efforts to be seen, their dreams to be recognized. And that's natural. We are human. But the greatest lesson I've learned through failure, rejection, and success is this. You don't need to talk about your dreams. You need to build them. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Let your success do that for you. Let your results make the noise. When I was building Alibaba, there was no one clapping for us. We weren't famous. We weren't on the front page of any newspaper. In fact, people laughed at us. They thought we would fail. And honestly, many times, I thought we might too. But we didn't stop to argue. We didn't pause to explain. We just kept building, step by step, failure by failure, silently. Because I believed one day our results would speak louder than any speech I could ever give. You see, success is the loudest language. It's universal. It doesn't need subtitles. It doesn't need you to explain where you've been or what you've gone through. When you succeed, the same people who ignored you will start listening. The ones who doubted you will start watching, and they'll ask, "How did you do it?" But by then, you won't need to say a word. The work will speak for itself. The problem today is that we live in a culture that celebrates announcements more than achievement. People announce their goals before they've taken the first step. They seek attention before they've done the hard work. But here's the truth. Attention without results is empty. It might feel good in the moment, but it doesn't build anything that lasts. If you want to build something meaningful, something that stands the test of time, don't focus on being seen. Focus on becoming valuable. Do the work when no one's watching. Show up when no one believes in you. Build quietly. Improve silently. Let others talk. Let others shine. Your moment will come, and when it does, it will be undeniable. And when success comes, people will think it happened overnight. They won't see the late nights, the failures, the doubts, the sacrifices. They won't see the years of silent progress, but you will know. You'll know what it cost. And that's what makes it meaningful. Not the applause, but the journey. Letting your success make the noise isn't about arrogance. It's about humility. It's about putting your head down, staying grounded, and allowing your growth to shine without screaming for validation. It's about saying, "I'm not here to impress, I'm here to impact." This mindset is powerful because it frees you. You no longer need to chase approval. You no longer fear being misunderstood. You just keep building, and in time, people will notice. Not because you shouted, but because your life became the proof of your discipline. So if no one's cheering for you right now, don't be discouraged. If no one believes in you yet, don't stop. If your results aren't visible today, don't give up. Keep going. Keep showing up. Keep growing. Because one day, your silence will turn into success. And when that day comes, let it be your answer to every doubt, every critic, every moment you were overlooked. Let your success be your voice. Let your results be your roar. Let your life speak. And speak so loudly, you never have to explain yourself again. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in the chase for attention. Everyone wants to be seen, to be liked, to go viral. People post every move they make, hoping someone will validate their effort. But the truth is, attention fades, discipline lasts. And if you truly want to build something meaningful, something that stands the test of time, you must choose discipline over attention every single time. I've seen it over and over again. Talented people with big dreams who burn out too soon because they were more focused on being noticed than being consistent. They wanted quick applause, not long-term growth. But success doesn't come from being visible. It comes from being disciplined, especially when no one is watching. When we started Alibaba, nobody was paying attention. We weren't on the news. We didn't have investors knocking on our doors. And for many years, we didn't even make a profit. But we had one thing: discipline. Every day, we showed up. We worked hard. We stayed committed. Not because the world was watching, but because we believed in the mission. And that discipline is what carried us through the hard times. You have to understand something. Attention is addictive. It feels good when people recognize you, when they clap for you. But if you're not careful, it becomes your motivation. You start doing things just to be seen, not because they're right or aligned with your purpose. And that's dangerous. Because when the attention goes away, and it will, you're left empty. Discipline, on the other hand, is rooted in something deeper. It's not about how you feel, it's about who you're becoming. It's the decision to show up even when you're tired, to keep going even when no one's clapping, to stay focused even when distractions surround you. Discipline isn't exciting, it's not flashy, it's quiet, it's repetitive, but that's what makes it powerful. You see, real growth comes from the boring stuff. Waking up early, sticking to your goals, doing the small things right every single day. That's not what gets you likes or shares, but that's what builds the foundation for greatness. I often tell young people, don't be fooled by temporary noise. Just because someone is trending today doesn't mean they'll be around tomorrow. The people who last, who truly succeed, are the ones who choose discipline over and over again. Even when no one's watching, even when it's hard, even when it feels like it's not working. Attention is a moment. Discipline is a mindset. If you want to achieve something real in your life, whether it's starting a business, improving yourself, building a future, you must be willing to disappear for a while, to go quiet, to put your head down and work without recognition. That's where character is built. That's where strength is forged. So stop chasing attention. It's not the goal. Chasing attention will drain your energy, waste your time, and pull you off your path. Chase excellence instead. Chase mastery. Chase discipline. Because when you commit to discipline, success becomes inevitable. And when success comes, the attention will follow. But by then, you won't need it. You'll be too focused on the next goal, too locked in on your purpose, too disciplined to be distracted. That's the mindset that builds legacies. Let others chase the spotlight. You stay in the shadows and build something the world can't ignore. So if there's one message I want to leave you with, it's this. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't need approval to be valuable. And you don't need to explain your path to people who were never meant to walk it with you. In a world full of noise, the greatest strength is the ability to stay focused, to look within, to trust your own voice, and to keep building quietly when no one is clapping. That is real power. That is how greatness is born. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not unnoticed. You are growing. In silence, in discipline, in focus. And one day, all the long nights, all the quiet sacrifices, all the silent battles, they will turn into loud victories. Let the world say what it wants. Let them assume. Let them doubt. But you stay focused. You stay grounded. You stay silent. Because when the time is right, your work will speak. And when it does, it won't just speak, it will echo.